I was going to ask you at the end of the episode. You just cut me off.
But you got to treat them all different, right? You got to treat them all different. They all have their own silo. They all have their own guest base, right? Our guest base at Mastro's is different than a Morton's or a Strip House guest base. So you've got to figure out who that guest base is and attack that base. So it's challenging, like I said, but I have good vice presidents like Patrick that run my day-to-day business. My job is to steer them in the right direction.
Huge news. Toast, our primary technology partner at our barbecue restaurants in San Diego, and the primary technology partner of so many of the guests that we have on this show, have announced they are expanding their business offerings with Google. So now, if you search on Google Maps and you sign up for Toast Tables or Toast Waitlist, you will have the opportunity to improve the digital hospitality experience of the guest, allow them to book through the maps into the Toast reservation system. One of the biggest difficulties that restaurant guests have is when they search for your restaurant and they want a table, they do not have an easy solution to book a table or to get on a wait list. This is huge news for the restaurant industry, huge news for guests, and huge news for you, the restaurant owner. Check out Toast Tables today and find out the new integrated solution that they have. This is something that we've wanted for a long time. How do you integrate reservations, wait lists into your point of sale? Toast has done it. Check it out. Tim.
Yes, sir.
When was the first time you met Tillman Fertitta?
Well, actually, it was about over 20 years ago. I worked for a concept called Chart House, which he acquired many, many years ago. And I was the vice president of operations at that point in time for Chart House. Funny story is I elected not to go work for him at that point in time. I left and I worked for another company. But as years went by, I was the vice president of the Ocean Air Seafood Room, which he, again, purchased. And I was the vice president of the Ocean Air Seafood Room. So as of 15 years ago, here I still am. So I elected to come to work for him, and it's been nothing but fantastic, actually.
Tell me what you've learned working for him.
Tenacity. Know your numbers again. Do the right thing. You're gonna have to cut this because some guy decided to start mowing the lawn. Patrick, what's going on around here?
The tenacity that the gardener has.
We got to make sure to keep it nice and green out here.
Man, I tell you, this is tough. Going back, he's taught me to run a good business. And, when you are running a great business for him, he will let you run your business. That's what I really like. He lets you be the entrepreneur. If things aren't going right, he's going to let you know. There's no doubt about it. He will call you up and tell you he's not going the right way. But, luckily, I have great people and we have a great business. So he lets me run the business. I meet with him a few times a year, but other than that, it's just he lets you run your business. So that's the nice thing.
And when you look at the Mastro's business and you look at expansion, you said you have 20 locations. Are you opening more locations? Are there plans?
We're opening in December. We're opening in Miami, down on Brickell. Okay. And then we're opening another one in Columbus, Ohio. And then we have a franchisee that we're probably going to open one or two, one in Cabo and one in Cancun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's kind of our first franchisees with Mastro's, but, we're looking to do more.
And the first international
for Mastro's, first international. We're looking in Dubai and some other locations, but, those can take years to do. But we're pretty picky.
Well, yeah. I mean, how much, what's a build out of a Mastro's? How much are we talking?
Ooh. I think it'd be 12, 14, 15, 16 million, Depends on in Houston, if he wants a waterfall, in the dining room, or if he doesn't want a waterfall in the
Who
dining.
makes those decisions? Do you make
That's
the
it.
waterfall decision?
I just run the restaurant. So you want the waterfall, you can have a waterfall. I just have to make sure the waterfall works.
Okay.
So
Very
yeah,
nice.
all right. I don't know if you've been to the restaurant in Houston, but there's a big patio outside,
Yeah.
and it actually has a waterfall that comes down. We have a waterfall inside the restaurant in Newport Beach. So when you get back to California, you have to come to Newport Beach.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna make the Newport Beach trip without my hat. Without my hat. Can you talk to me about the guest experience? How do you prioritize the guest? What do you do differently than other brands do to really set yourself unique?
Again, we focus on hospitality.
What does that mean to you?
That means to be taking care of the guest, knowing
How?
what their needs are, what their wants are. We have, like many locations or restaurants, we have open table. We ask the questions when you make a reservation. We ask if it's a special occasion, whose is it? Do you have allergies? Do you have likes and dislikes? And if you become a regular guest, we put your likes in open table. So all of our restaurants if you like Chateau Margaux, and that's your favorite wine, and you order it almost every time you come to a restaurant, that goes to an open table. So if you're in Newport Beach or Malibu or New York City, your name pops up, your likes come up, and we will offer you, the wine list, and open it to page Chateau Margaux. We like to know what your favorite drink is. We like to know how you like it, and we will make sure that it's served that way. We want to make sure that your experience is over the top. And one thing I preach all the time is we offer an experience, just not a restaurant, just not somewhere to go eat, just not a steak, right? I can get a steak anywhere. I can get one at the grocery store, I can get one at the restaurant down the street. But we want to make sure that you have an experience. And when you leave here, it's over the top. You walk out here going, you might have spent $300, $400, $500, but you're gonna go, wow, that was amazing. We shake the martinis high, and we have smoke on our shrimp cocktails and our seafood towers with dry ice. But it's just not that. We come out with flashlights, and we want you to see it's a whole experience what's going on at your table. When we shake your martini, we shake it high and hard to make sure that we do a table side. What's that guy drinking over there? He's having a martini. So we want every guest to come in and have a true experience, not just not a restaurant experience, an experience of dining out at a white tablecloth restaurant.
Patrick, how do you deal with guest feedback, especially given all the different online platforms? It's one thing to take care of a guest that has a complaint in the restaurant, but given all the different places that someone can talk about the brand, how do you guys manage that?
Yeah, that's a tough one, because a lot of guests oftentimes, sadly for us and them, won't say anything when they're in the seat, and take it home with that good or bad feedback, to which we'd really relish the opportunity to make it right then and there. But at the end of the day, that helps us too with our scorecard. Hey, this wasn't right, I didn't like that. And hopefully we have some form of getting their true contact, getting them on the phone, figuring out how we dropped the ball, and the opportunity to always make it right, invite them back in, and hopefully show them the great experience that we're known for.
Do you have any examples of a guest recovery that is kind of like the shining story of going above and beyond?
It's hard to pin it down to one, but I will tell you a significant amount of our regulars and VIP guests, if we want to call them that, have unfortunately had a not so good experience, to where the GM picked up the phone. Hey, Sean, I'm so sorry you had that experience. Thankfully, the guest was willing to listen and accepted the invitation back in, and we turned it around. I will say, outside of obviously significant and habitual visits, many of our regulars and VIPs were turned around and then become loyal to us.
Great.
And then also, I'm just going to jump in and add on, we do a callback program to try and get in front of that. So if you had dinner last night in the restaurant we will call you back the next day to make sure that your experience is what you expected. And it kind of opens up